her foul shots. Did she have that kind of ice in her veins tonight? Here we go, the national semifinals underway in Pittsburgh. IUP in their all grays, Colorado Mesa in predominantly black. Our officials today, Colleen Thompson, Chris Cooper, and Desiree Dobson.
IUP wants to play through number 1 in gray, Shea Weaver.
IUP off to a slow start, and they missed that first good look offensively. Rowland brings it down the floor. To go this far into the broadcast and not mention one of the best players in America feels a little strange. Olivia Reed-Tyne, but she's the headline for almost every time the Mavericks take the floor. It's going to take more than just a good game from Olivia to catapult them into the national title game.
Reed-Tyne, she has to be active both offensively and defensively, number 32 in black, but also the role players for the Mavericks have to step up today.
Right side triple try, no good. Maggio fearlessly puts one home. Brings in Hawk, strike first.
Maggio, an elite three-point shooter, so the Mavericks have to make sure they are pressing out on the perimeter on her, face guarding her, because she cannot get an inch of space out there.
Shea Weaver and Olivia Reed-Tyne, that matchup looking at each other would be awesome as the Mavericks have a third look. Olivia misses the layup and Shea just rips it away. IUP skips it inside. Good ball fake, Bosch scores.
Just a missed defensive assignment there. A rare one from Mason Rowland allows IUP to get inside in transition and score Belle Bosch.
Probably going to take both teams a couple of minutes to get some of the butterflies out. Biggest game that anybody on this floor has ever played in. Colorado Mesa had only made the Elite Eight once prior to earlier this week. That was back in 2013. This is the biggest game in school history. They've never played in the Division II version of the Final Four. IUP has been on this floor as a program twice before, back in 2018 and 2019, but not since then. Shea Weaver goes inside and scores.
It's going to be such a fun matchup to watch. Weaver going against Reed-Tyne, 2 All-Americans in that post area, and a nice job by Weaver getting behind on the seal.
Also thought Ellie Wilkerson was excellent on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
IUP's overtime win. Loose on the floor, scooped up by Marin Miller, who has so much juice in the tank. Count the bucket for Weaver and the foul.
A really good sign so far for the Crimson Hawks. Weaver is dialed in, and she is finishing around the basket, even through contact. But IUP's doing a great job turning up the defense, getting in those passing lanes, getting deflections, turning the defense to offense, and no bigger play than that from Nyesha Weaver.
IUP opened the game on Tuesday with an 11-0 run. So far, it's 10-zip. IUP did that, by the way, to Holy Family, who is the #1 rated defensive team in America coming in. They're playing the #4 ranked defensive team in the country tonight. We get a bad screen, sending it the other way.
And I would expect at some point here that there might be a timeout coming for Colorado Mesa, who's a little bit rattled right now. Mavericks are the team that's most known for their defense, but right now, IUP really flipping the script, turning up that defensive intensity.
How about Craig Carey and the job that he's done here? Goes out and finds some kids that want to just go out and play their hearts out. You need good scorers, and he's got plenty of those. Colorado Mesa calls a timeout, but his defense is elite. And this feels like a virtual road game for the Mavericks, who called the offensive group out on the floor. And they played against a great defense on Tuesday and were able to manage a good enough performance in overtime, where, frankly, it kind of felt like they held on at the end of the, I guess at the end of regulation, and then won by 5 in the extra session. Colorado Mesa, meanwhile, has missed every shot it's taken from the floor, 0 for 4. They get to the free throw line here. It's got to start somewhere. Mason Rowland puts it on her shoulders.
And that's one of the biggest concerns for IUP is that ability of both Rowland and Reed-Tyne to get to the free throw line a lot. They had 34 free throw attempts in that Elite 8 win.
Mason connects on the free throws. Coach Wagner looks on. This is one of the most accomplished coaches in women's college basketball. Nobody that coaches at the collegiate level, D1, 2, 3, or JUCO, in the state of Colorado has ever won more women's basketball games than Taylor Wagner. This is the biggest game of his career. He's watching his ladies try to put it back together defensively.
Well, it starts on the defensive end for the Mavericks. You got to string together some stops and prevent the paint, which has been a big issue so far.
Maggio liked the look. Didn't quite work out for her as Rowland picks up the tempo.
That's an area Weaver likes to overplay those passing lanes, so that's something to keep an eye on that matchup. If she's going to try to deny Reed-Tyne, especially out on the perimeter, just holding her there with the left hand, but Reed-Tyne also might have an opportunity to backdoor cut to the basket.
All right, that's a critical part of this game. That's the second foul on Shea Weaver. And we're not even at the under 5 timeout here in the first quarter. How can IUP go without their best player on the floor, at least for a bit?
Well, especially because Weaver has 7 of the 12 points so far for the Crimson Hawks.
She's their best athlete. She's an incredible scorer. She's their leading rebounder. I would argue she's their best defensive player in addition to their best scoring threat. Who's going to step up? You need other parts in games of this magnitude. Iyer is also off the bench for Colorado Mesa. Brooke Iyer, the junior from Provo, Utah. She posts up Olivia Reed-Tyne, who goes right to work.
Yeah, and if I'm Mavericks right now, I'm just going to keep feeding that ball into Reed-Tyne. Did a nice job on that steal, getting the inside position.
IUP, how does the offense look without her? Maren Miller working around inside, eventually down low. Bell Bosch couldn't handle it. Travel.
The turnovers are something that Colorado Mesa is going to have to do a better job of minimizing. They don't normally turn the ball over this much. Already 4 in this game. Average only 13 per game.
Taylor Wagner looking on thinking this is unlike what we've seen from the Mavericks this season. Trying to get back in it. Bosch aggressive to the rim. Punch it and one.
One of the big messages today at shoot-around from Crimson Hawks coach Craig Carey was to attack Reed-Tyne and whoever is matched up with her. And that is exactly what Bosch is doing. Got that quick first step, got initially around her, and then it forces Reed-Tyne to foul her. But one of the recipes for winning this battle is to get Reed-Tyne out of the game in foul trouble.
Well, especially considering that her counterpart is in exactly that same bucket. Maybe Bell Bosch is the one that will shoulder the load in Shea's absence. Olivia Reed-Tyne was incredible over Minnesota Duluth on Tuesday. 35 points. She turns around and scores from under the basket. What Reed-Tyne has done in the postseason is simply amazing. 7 games in playoff basketball going back to the start of the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference tournament.
There's a lot of people in Division II that would argue that Reed-Tyne should have been the Division II Player of the Year with the numbers she put up.
No doubt. And when the spotlight is brightest, she's been her best. She's averaging 31 a night the last 7 games and 14 rebounds. How about that rhythm triple? Mason Rowland, dagger.
A really good sign. Mason Rowland is the heartbeat of this Mavericks team. She brings energy, and that was a huge three-pointer to get the Mavericks right back in this game.
It was 12-0 IUP. Now it's 15-9 just a couple minutes later as Miller took a good look. Maybe a bit off balance and missed it to the right.
And this offense for the Mavs starting to get in flow, 3 of their last 3.
Rowland catch and shoot short out of her hands. The IUP fans are going to let her hear by.
Just rush that shot a little bit.
IUP makes a couple of changes, including bringing on Naomi Zulueta, 5'10" junior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She's going to be key in the post, 24 in gray. Watch her and Molly Keene, who's 5'11".
Zulueta, they're her first action here in Pittsburgh that we've seen.
She's pretty athletic for her size. Get it to the outside. Wilkerson drives, kicks back out. Miller feeds Keene, tucks it, up, missed. Rowland is she always looks in control. Dominant right hand, doesn't like to go to that left a ton.
Well, that's something that IUP needs to force her to the left hand more in this game.
Foul away from the basket as the Crimson Hawks up in arms. Coach Carey not happy.
I mean, again, it's the national semis. You got to let them play a little. There's going to be some bump in the cutter.
There's more bumping underneath there as Olivia Reed-Tyne turns and scores. I think it especially makes it difficult with Weaver on the bench. You don't want your backup post to pick up unnecessary fouls.
And that's why if I'm the Mavericks, I'm going to just keep feeding Reed-Tyne in there and try and draw more foul trouble. She's elite at drawing fouls.
Ellie Hardwell in to help run the show. This is Miller. Hardwell races. Good look off the front of the rim. Clanks away. Another one and done. Colorado Mesa 4 turnovers. It's turned into 10 IUP points. That was a beautiful play design.
A great pass.
Everything but finish. Meanwhile, IUP has only turned it over once. 6 of 13 here in this first quarter. And Miller back up top. Hardwell dribbled and kind of lost control of the ball, but put it up soft enough to score.
It's the bench players right now that are stepping up for IUP. Ending that 7-0 run by the Mavericks.
Feeding Olivia Reed-Tyne right away.
And
easy bucket.
Some of those feeds, IUP has to do a better job pressuring the ball on those entry passes. You can't let the guards have that good of a look lobbing it in there.
Olivia's got 8 here in the first quarter. Long spot up 3, bangs away. Miller had a decent shot. I love watching 4 in gray play. Marin Miller. There are a few players in America who you can feel how hard they're playing the way Miller does. How about Olivia Reed-Tyne? Absorbs the contact and one.
It's time. She's heating up, just like we saw on Tuesday in the second quarter, taking over this game. Reed-Tyne now is in a rhythm. The entry passes are right on point. Again, the ball pressure on the perimeter has to be better, but it's a quick, decisive pass in there. And Reed-Tyne making it look easy on the finish.
I got to tell you, I know it's 17-15 IUP. Now they lead by 1 as you see just how accomplished Reed-Tyne has been. But this is, in my opinion, worst case scenario for the Crimson Hawks. Weaver has 2 fouls, and her primary backup, Keene, has 3. And we've only played 8.5 minutes.
Agree. And foul trouble is a real concern, especially for this IUP squad.
Olivia Reed-Tyne must be salivating, knowing she can be so aggressive the rest of the way as Belle Bosch scores.
Bosch has had a great start for this Crimson Hawks team. Is really stepping up in a big way with Weaver on the bench.
He's feeding underneath. Olivia back out. More open for 3. Not quite, but a good job. Long rebound.
And Coach Wagner said today that some of his role players were going to have to step up. They're going to have some wide open looks because of all the defensive attention Reed-Tyne is drawing.
Keene does a nice box out there. Don't have to hold for the last shot, but there's about 3 or 3.5 seconds difference in game and shot clock. Right now, this game is absolutely living up to the billing. Wilkerson gets a friendly roll. Whalen has a little time. Mason zings up the floor, stops. Unfriendly, but the putback is good, and 1.
Reed-Tyne, so dangerous on the offensive glass if you do not put a body on her. She's one of the most active.
They're going to put .4 on the clock at the time of the foul. Reed-Tyne completes the 3-point play.
Already 14 points in this game.
It was 12-0 IUP, and the Mavericks were reeling. And then they went to
17 points.
They have been their offensive threats all year long. Right now, it hasn't called somebody else's number quite yet. They've got plenty of other capable scorers. That first quarter was the Olivia and Mason show.
The Batman and Robin combo of Division II.
Rowland, of course, has the RoboCop-looking leg after she had knee surgery that cost her most of last year. Played only 3 games before a devastating knee injury. Thankfully, she's at full strength. It's amazing how hard she can play considering the size of the brace. IUP missed the shot, but a foul was called.
It's the 5th foul in this game that Retine has drawn. And it's not just happening on the offensive end of the floor, it's happening on the defensive glass as well.
She's a monster.
Well, now
is that the 4th on Keene? Oh my goodness.
Now we see Weaver is forced to come back into this game because foul trouble is becoming a huge issue in the front court.
Wow. IUP roared to life out of the gates, 12-0. And it has been brutal since then. That was good defense, though. Really good from Bosch in particular. Wilkerson kind of got in the way, too.
Yeah, bumped the cutter and disrupted the rhythm of that cutter.
Ellie goes to the bucket, hits the bottom of the rack.
Colorado Mesa did a nice job pushing tempo as well.
Rowland likes to play fast. She can stop and shoot it under control really well. I think that's one of the best parts of the game.
The Mavericks, part of the recipe for getting back in this game is because they're getting back and not allowing that half-court defense of IUP to get set up.
Crimson Hawks lost the last 2 games of the regular season before they turned around and went on an incredible run in the NCAA tournament. And certainly in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference tournament as well. Bosch zings underneath. Weaver contested but scores.
Weaver just is so decisive with her moves and has excellent footwork. I mean, she's already in the air before Retine can even catch up.
There's a lot of very nervous Crimson Hawk fans here at the moment. Iyer feeds inside as Olivia goes up against Bell. Bell more than standing her ground, made it tough. Retine, another bucket.
Weaver's limited, too, when she ends up guarding Retine because she can't be too physical with her because she doesn't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
7 of 8 from the floor already with 5 rebounds. Goodness gracious. Keene and Weaver both in some foul trouble here early in the game. Maggio. Gotta have it. Tickles the twine on the way down.
I love that look for Teresa Maggio. Going under the screen, that's where the mistake was made, using Weaver as a decoy, top of the key, and Maggio, a 40+% three-point shooter.
She's got some quiet confidence that if you don't pay attention to her, she will burn you.
You have to go over the top of screens on Teresa Maggio.
The foul on IUP. It is on Maggio. Change for Colorado Mesa as Maggio looks over and says, I don't really know what else I was supposed to do there. We'll bring Hallie Clark, the freshman from Alaska, back in. 34 wins in a row for the Mavericks. And that young lady obviously has an awful lot to do with it.
Well, and you'll notice Weaver is not guarding Retine right now. They have Belle Bosch on the senior because they're concerned about that foul trouble.
26-25. Mesa's hit their last 3 in a row. Wilkerson in the key. Nice touch.
Ellie Wilkerson can be the X factor in this game. She has that ability to score in bunches, and she's a great defensive player.
Moore, Rowland, Clark, Iyer, and Reed. Find Olivia. Good passing. Olivia set the screen, goes to the bucket. Moore doesn't score. In transition, the rhythm 3 doinks away, and then Moore grabs it for Colorado Mesa. Good effort by the senior, Michaela Moore.
Michaela Moore coming off a great game in the Elite 8, had 9 points and impacting things in other ways.
Olivia Reed time gets her own miss. Power dribble, Well, she realized that one wasn't going to drop either. IUP, Wilkerson quickly to the bucket. Back and forth they go as Bell Bosch checks out. IUP turns to Madison Zavosky.
When you're trying to advance to your first national championship, one of the biggest things that is going to play into that is the battle of the boards today. And that starts with being able to box out.
Yeah, and if you want to get to that last game of the season, in almost all circumstances, you better have some depth.
Yes.
Because if you just rely on your stars, you're asking for too many things to go right. Teams that win these games are the ones that generally can handle it when things go poorly.
It's why you see Green Valley State has been so dominant the last 5 years, in particular, because they have such balance and depth on their teams.
Yeah, the Lubbock Christians and Ashlands and Grand Valley States of the world the last decade or so. That has been a common thread as Weaver tries to get involved and does.
Weaver has such great touch, and it's not just around the rim. A really smooth mid-range game, and she is dialed in. You could tell today, even at shoot-around, she was ready to go for this one.
30-25, Crimson Hawks. Good defense. Ball landed out of bounds. Colorado Mesa has missed 4 shots in a row. The Crimson Hawks, despite having what
against Reed-Tyne in this game, I'm directing somebody, their sole responsibility is just putting a body on her on both the offensive and defensive glass.
And if Weaver's in foul trouble playing with 2, her backup Keene has 4 and is already back on the bench. I don't know, there's a bunch of other players on the bench that might not be able to give you what you want offensively, but if they've got 5 fouls, just go put bodies on her and make it hard.
Oh, and you even talked about Reed-Tyne's toughness yet. I mean, she was playing on a torn labrum and meniscus last year. Coach Weiner said her toughness is off the charts.
Yeah, it's fun to watch it when it's all healthy and everything looks good, but sometimes people don't see all of those little things. You don't see the early morning practices. Nobody this time of year is playing pain-free. Everybody's banged up in some regard. She's already got 20. She had 25 at halftime on Tuesday, finished with 35.
I mean, in Pittsburgh, she might end up averaging 35 points a game.
Well, they also might need her to. Iyer. Oh, Beatty. Sweet play design, easy bucket.
The defensive communication off of those curls and those screens has to be better for IUP because total missed assignment. Nobody went with Reed-Tyne to the basket. That can't happen.
Craig Carey's face was as beet red as his pullover. This is irritating him the way she's getting easy looks, and yet his team leads by 1. What a roller coaster of emotions as Weaver grabs it. She got a little bump, not enough, I guess, for a whistle. Missed it.
Yeah, and tough angle, too. Weaver was really far under the basket, couldn't use the backboard.
Looking for their first lead. Rowland had it stripped. Miller wants to race to the basket. Passed it maybe a bit too late. Foul on IUP, and the Crimson Hawks are irate.
King has made some big defensive plays in the game. Basically saved a basket there and was able to draw another foul in the process with her hustle rather. This looks like a surefire fast break bucket initially for IUP.
What do you think about the call?
I mean, it's a little bit ticky-tacky.
IUP has the ball, goes to the basket. Ellie Wilkerson, easy money.
Wilkerson needs to continue to assert herself. She's been that go-to player this year, late in the shot clock, late in games.
IUP has committed 9 fouls, only 3 on Colorado Mesa as a team. Wilkerson's a capable shooter. Weaver gives to Maggio. Teresa, tough shot. Reed-Tyne grabs it, her 7th rebound to go with her 22 points. The other 7 have come from Rowland. King, good facilitator. Iyer right back to her. Rowland, airmailed it.
Weaver in position on that weak side board.
You can see when Weaver wants to dial it up and get aggressive. And Olivia Reed-Tyne played good enough defense. Weaver didn't score, stays down here though.
Well, if I'm Weaver, I'm going to continue to attack Reed-Tyne on the offensive end of the floor. And she's got to play under control off of 2 feet because you don't want to draw an offensive foul and pick up foul number 3. But she does have an advantage with her athleticism, and she has excellent footwork, the ability to hang in the air.
And I think there is some element of you have to play, with your emotions under control, but you can't stop being who you are.
No, and Weaver's naturally an aggressive player. She has great elevation, so she needs to continue to exploit that.
Erin Miller gets it in quickly. Bosch wants to post up Wilkerson, can't get it to her. We got Shea out on the perimeter on the left side. Ellie cutting in, Weaver a cutter to the hoop, and a blocking foul, and one. Nice, Shea Weaver does it again. Give her 13 in the first half.
I actually think Shea Weaver is better off the ball as a cutter than if she has the ball and you're isolating her. So elite with that quick step, that burst of speed to the basket, and the ability to finish before that defense can get set.
It was 12-0 to start the game. Maggio's 3 rattled away. Colorado Mesa has cut it to 1. It's been very competitive since that 12-0 start. Lead has ballooned back to 5. As the Mavericks have played from behind, wire to wire. Reed-Tyne working on Bosch. She forgot the ball. Good defense there from Belle Bosch.
Bosch knocking that ball away.
Colorado Mesa has turned it over 8 times in the first half against this fantastic Crimson Hawks defense. Repost Olivia. That's the offense. Give it to 32. Maggio snuck in behind and grabbed it.
Maggio is so good at sneaking there with her active hands and deflecting that ball. Made a living at that in the Elite 8 game.
Feels like Mesa's gotten a little less creative. Meanwhile, Weaver did it on the other side of the floor. Now comes to the right wing. Same result, 36-29.
One of the differences you're seeing is Colorado Mesa is really taking advantage in transition in the first quarter. Better transition defense from IUP in the second has made those early looks harder to come by. 6
unanswered points. IUP hanging tough. Triple try. Nope. And a foul apparently on Moore. I don't think Moore ever moved. I think she was just trying to reach for the ball. Kayla Moore draws the whistle, and so IUP theoretically here will hope for the last shot if they do it right. A roller coaster of emotions in this first half has been pretty dramatic. IUP so far handling their business. Bosch skips it over. Miller with 3. Stops and throws a missile off the backboard, and that'll do it. What a first half. Olivia Reed-Tyne, 22 points on 10 of 13. She's got 8 rebounds. How impactful she could be in this game. She's got 6 points, only 1 steal, no turnovers. Maggio has raised from 3 a few different times. So look at those first half numbers. Here we go. The winner of this game goes to the national championship on this floor Saturday afternoon. Wilkerson fouled on her second chance. And IUP has free throws right out of the chute.
I really like how aggressive Ellie Wilkerson has been in this game, hunting her shot, bodying up inside. She's not afraid to play through contact.
All right, if you are Colorado Mesa here, how do you try to design something a little different so that maybe you give some looks to other players beside Mason and Olivia early in this half?
Well, it's going to come down to some of the off-ball cutting. First, I'm trying to get looks in transition, but if the transition defense is back, I'm trying to run some of the other players, not named Roland. A steal here from Maggio, and the finish.
What a play.
But to get back to your question, I'm trying to run some of the other role players off curls, off backdoor cuts, really take advantage of where IUP is overplaying defensively. There's those active hands of Teresa Maggio, made a living at that in the Elite 8 game, and so good at finishing through contact.
She's approaching 80 steals on the season and had 9 on Tuesday. Comes up with a big one there, her second of the night. Okay, on the flip side, if you're Shea Weaver, at what point do you forget how many fouls you have and just try to go play, knowing that your team needs you to be on both ends of the floor?
Well, I actually think Weaver did that late in the first half. Really was still aggressive with her offense, and I loved what Coach Carey did there, putting her off ball from Reed Tyne so she wouldn't pick up that potential third foul. So that's really helped her being able to help in there on that backside help.
Rowland's three was certainly helpful as Delbosch turns it over. Here's a chance. Good open rhythm shot from Bloom.
I mean, the big thing for
Clark.
Colorado Mesa is that the role players need to continue to shoot the ball with confidence, but I would love to see, rather getting wide open threes right now, and IUP is giving that to them, I'd love to see them get higher percentage looks around the rim.
Rolling from the corner, this kid's getting hot. Deep two, 40-34. Two jump shots go down for Mason Rowland early in the second half. IUP's been making a living getting to the bucket. Apparently Moore's defense good enough there on Maggio. They want to play through Reed Tyne, had it jarred free, needs some help, and she's fouled. It's on Maggio. Teresa's going berserk.
Maggio initially looks like she had the initial dig down. That's number 3 on her, if it is indeed on her. Very aggressive getting into passing lanes and with the active hands. I don't know about that.
Elbow on the floor, stays down here. I wonder if it wasn't so much about the reach in with the left arm.
I actually wonder if it was
the right hand on the shoulder.
Yeah, but she barely, she barely had. I actually wonder if it was just a late whistle. I thought initially when she reached in, you could have gotten her for a foul there, but I didn't think the second part of that play was a foul.
IUP trying to fight through some adversity. Reed Tyne, yes.
Reed Tyne needs to touch this ball at least once every time down the floor.
IUP has to know that, right? So if you're the Mavericks, it's got to be creative the way you get her the ball. You can't just force it to her.
No, I mean, literally, IUP worked all morning at shoot-around on playing Reed Tyne 3/4 fronting her and then having backside help.
Good spin move, Wilkerson. Put it on your highlight reel.
Ellie Wilkerson, have yourself a game. She's attacking right now off the bounce, and IUP's doing a great job of isolating her in space.
9 points on 4 of 10 for Ellie. Rowland to the can, no. Reed Tyne, second chance, over the whole top of the bucket. Colorado Mesa still in it, but they've never led. IUP has had moments where they've had a lead that felt like they were trailing by significant points. Crimson Hawks have been impressive in their resiliency. As Weaver goes to work, that's a tough basket.
Weaver's just so good at probing the defense, and Reed Tyne, who's an excellent defender, getting her in space, allowing her to go to work off the baseline. She has that ability to finish on the reverse.
Lobbed into the post. Reed Tyne, no. Goes back to it, scores from the left side.
The biggest thing with Reed Tyne is the secondary shot. Her crashing the offensive glass. She might not hit the first one, but you better have a body on her regardless, because she gets so much of her offense on those follow-through buckets.
At the 6:45 mark of the third quarter, Olivia Reed Tyne is 26 and 11. Wilkerson. Oh my goodness. The senior from Plainfield is lighting it up in Pittsburgh.
If I'm the Crimson Hawks, I'm just continually getting Ellie Wilkerson the ball. She's got the hot hand right now. She's scoring at all 3 levels.
Rowland's answer came up short, but they get another chance. Mason goes to the basket. The defense fell asleep.
The offensive glass right now that is keeping Colorado Mesa in this game.
What do you think about the pace and energy of the second half?
The pace definitely favors Colorado Mesa a little bit more. I mean, both teams want to play fast, but Mavs are getting a little bit more looks in transition.
Maggio was a little off balance. Still a decent chance there. Down by 7. Mavericks have won 34 in a row. They have got their hands full with this feisty Crimson Hawks team. The winner gets either Grand Valley State, our defending national champs, who are back again with a retooled roster, much different team from a year ago, or the University of Alabama Huntsville. They're going to foul in the key. It's on Mesa. They whistle it on 25, Cameron Bloom. Checks out, Brooke Iyer returns.
A little handsy trying to bump the cutter.
3 fouls on Mesa this quarter, only 1 on the Hawks. Trying to get it in and finally finds Weaver. Nice shake. Her head went faster than her body would let her move. A good start to the second half. If you like high entertainment, both offenses starting to click. The combination of Olivia Reed-Tyne and Mason Rowland enough, because nobody else has given them as much as a single point. We're at the under 5 mark of the third quarter.
And normally Reed-Tyne and Rowland combine for about 54% of their team's points. So the role player is going to need to continue to hunt their shot and try and look for higher percentage looks than open threes that they're getting right now.
He joined us late. Shea Weaver, the post player and best athlete for IUP, had 2 early fouls. There's a rhythm 3 on the right side, clanks away from Iyer. And then her backup post player, the freshman Keene, picked up 4 fouls in 5 minutes. And IUP goes right to the bucket. Maggio, so tough. And 1.
Lisa Maggio has taken over this half for IUP, showing off her toughness, and she's really started to look for her shot, especially off the bounce, getting to the rim, elite finishing ability inside.
Teresa Maggio. Not quite. On the flip side, Mesa's doing a better job protecting the ball. They had 9 turnovers in the first half. They gave it away on their first possession of the second half, but now 8 possessions in a row without a turnover. Both teams offensively have been pretty good since the break. That's a tough play, and put it in the scorebook because somebody else scored. Michaela Moore, one of the other key pieces typically offensively, and the only other senior on this group outside of Olivia.
Yeah, I like that look, though, by Moore, and I'd like to see her and Hallie Clark try to get to the rim more often.
Weaver, great find. Oh, boy.
Weaver just so underrated with her vision. She can thread that ball through a lot of traffic.
Hallie Clark, a freshman who's, by this point, got a ton of experience. Works it around. Open 3, no. Rowland grabs the rebound, forced it up, and 1.
And it's not just Reed-Tyne you got to put a body on. Mason Rowland, also an elite rebounder. So good sneaking in there on those weak side boards. And off of this 3-point miss, you got to be expecting potential long rebounds. Just splits the defense and able to get the bucket and a trip to the free throw line.
Mason Rowland, mentioned it at the top of the show. She was 19 for 19 from the free throw line in their game against UCCS a few weeks back. She hit all 11 free throws on Tuesday. I mean, she's basically automatic from the stripe.
Colorado Mesa 32 of 34 in that Elite 8 win on Tuesday from the free throw line.
Tonight, they are 5 of 5, not getting there nearly as much. Wilkerson's having a great night. Second chance. Oh, Weaver wanted to pull the trigger. Instead, it's Belle Bosch. Good looking shot. Third crack. Man, oh man, IUP just couldn't get it home. Zavoski. Her length can give Mesa some problems. Clark into the low post. And Olivia to the free throw line.
Reed-Tyne just so quick and decisive. Once she catches that ball, goes immediately to work, and she's so good at feeling out that defense, where the help is coming from, where the double team is coming from. Make sure she keeps that ball high and goes right up with it.
Second foul on Zawadzki. Now checks out of the game. Starting 5 in the game for IUP. Colorado Mesa with Moore, King, Rowland, Iyer, and Reed-Tyne. Perfect. 51-47. Olivia Reed-Tyne with 28 points and 13 rebounds. This is basically what she's averaged since the start of the RMAC Conference Tournament. And we still have 12 minutes of regulation left. As Weaver almost did it again. That was a great move. She fought really hard for her own rebound.
Weaver knocked that ball actually out of the hands of Reed-Tyne.
Aaron Miller. Weaver up top, Maggio 5 to shoot. Teresa hesitates, beats her off the dribble. How does she do it?
Maggio just turns the corner so quickly, and she's got that little hesitation, burst to speed, so blows by the post defender.
53-47. One-on-one. Bosch trying to hold her own. Olivia's shot goes up. Well defended.
Nice job there pushing her off her spot on the block, making her take a little bit longer look from the mid-range.
Weaver. Good ball fake. Drives right at Olivia and missed it off the outside of the backboard. Partially deflected.
IUP's done a much better job this half, though, with their offensive spacing. They're putting Weaver on the perimeter, this pinch post area at the top of the key, in space to go one-on-one against Reed-Tyne.
Shot clock at 6. Teresa wants to go baseline. Somehow slipped free. This kid is unbelievable.
That's twice now that the Mavericks have given up baseline drives. Got to cut off that baseline defensively.
5'6", but the heart of a lion. Final minute of the third quarter. A win sends you to the national championship game. Rowland gathers, misfires. 9-second difference between game and shot clock. Miller wants to work some time. Marin on the give and go. Bell, Bosch. It was a good effort, didn't score. 15 seconds left. Rowland uses the screen, checks the time, bursts to the bucket and finishes. Beautiful play.
Too easy. Help defense need to come a whole lot sooner.
Weaver did not go. A very competitive third quarter. Colorado Mesa was down 7 at halftime. Now they trail by 6. Mavericks have traveled really well. And they have certainly gotten behind the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference champions. 34 wins in a row for Colorado Mesa. 7 straight for the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference champions, IUP. Fourth quarter of the D2 version of the Final Four starts with a Weaver bucket.
I love that little pick and roll with Ellie Wilkerson. She's commanded a lot of defensive attention and great pocket pass inside to Weaver.
Olivia Reed-Tyne, 28 points. Mason Rowland has 19. The only other 2 came from Michaela Moore, laying it up with about 4 minutes to go in the third. Good defense there by Zawadzki, with Colorado Mesa staring up into that student section.
I like this move to bring Madison Zawadzki in. She had a great game in the Elite 8 showing. Her length really created some issues, and so showing some length right now at Reed-Tyne inside.
IUP started the game with a 12-0 run. Colorado Mesa surged back to bring this thing much tighter, and in fact got it to 1 at 30-29, but the Mavericks never took the lead, and IUP has never let them really run with this game. Wilkerson has been a bit of an unsung hero today. Maggio back to the rim. She puts it up so soft, leans to the left and scores it.
Maggio's been unguardable in this second half off the bounce, and her ability to finish with either hand has been particularly troubling for this Mavericks defense.
17 in the game, 11 since halftime for Teresa Maggio. Read time was stuffed, but Wilkerson apparently fouled her. And perhaps Zavosky, no, they're going to call it on Zavosky instead. 23 picks up the foul. That is her third.
Reed Tyne so good at drawing fouls, especially as she gets downhill, and it's a good call because Zavosky gets her with the body.
Weaver's got 19, Maggio 17, Wilkerson 12. That's the bulk of the scoring for IUP as Olivia misfires on the free throw. Keene has 4 fouls. She's been on the bench for most of the game now. Zavosky has 3, and Maggio has 3 fouls. Only Reed Tyne has 3 fouls for Colorado Mesa. 59-50. Wilkerson, good ball fake, got her defender in the air and took advantage of it.
IUP really loves that matchup with Ellie Wilkerson because she's a bigger guard at 5'9". You can post her up, and she has that finishing ability to elevate around the rim.
Rowan needs help more. Feels like she's got to have it. Somehow Reed Tyne sandwiched between 2 defenders, grabbed the rebound and put it in. That's unbelievable.
Reed Tyne, she just goes up and gets that basketball, understands angles so well.
She's got 31 and 14. Wilkerson in rhythm, missed it all. The ball landed out of bounds.
For the Mavericks, it has to start on defense right now. You got to string together a few defensive stops.
Colorado Mesa has only turned it over once in the second half after those 9 in the first half. It came on their very first possession out of the locker room. Reed Tyne underneath, and this kid is absolutely electric.
She can catch anything around the basket. It doesn't even have to be a good entry pass. She's going up and getting it.
IUP playing noticeably slower here in the last maybe 7 or 8 minutes of regulation. We go right back to Wilkerson. Got a little space. Just couldn't score. And we've got a foul.
See if it's before the shot or not.
2 shots coming.
It was a late whistle. But yeah, just on the way to the basket there on that.
I believe it's on Iyer. No, King instead, 12.
It was on the way, and on the initial drive to the basket, it was just a late whistle.
IUP 30-3 this year. Dropped a game at Clarion, 78-77. And lost to Cal of Pennsylvania, 74-69. And lost to Gannon, 71-62. Back-to-back days in late February. They have hit the reset button come tournament time and turned March into the best March of their lives. Under 7 to play as the Mavericks are getting a little bit nervous. Rowland on the floor, had that ball stripped. And for clarification, I don't mean the team on the floor, but I think every Maverick fan right now is sweating bullets. Reed Tyne, great feed, Moore at the bucket. Oh, geez. How does that not go in?
It's just been that kind of day for the role players of Colorado Mesa.
Weaver couldn't handle it. Reed Tyne scoops it in. Olivia looks a little bit winded, but she'll fight through it. As the senior Moore says, okay, I got to make up for it. Free throws are coming.
Mavericks have definitely done a better job this second half of getting to the free throw line. That's been one of their biggest advantages this season. But IUP was so defensively sound in that first half, just cut off the driving lanes and did a nice job after that initial 5 minutes of not fouling.
Crimson Hawks have given it Taylor Wagner. quite a challenge. Two for two. IUP really struggled from long range against Holy Family. They hit just 2 threes in their 45 minutes. They went 2 for 11 in that game. They have not relied heavily on the three tonight either. 3 of 13, but they lead by 3 possessions. They get it to Bosch, fading away after the jump stop, and she scores.
And it's really been that cutter to the basket that's been so successful in the second half, off a little bit of two-man game.
Iyer clanks it short. Weaver grabs the miss. Taylor Wagner is irate, but no foul called with Rowland sprawling on the floor. Miller's three, open, good! IUP! 68-56! Magic ultimately said, hey, we can't go back and call a foul. He was particularly upset that it wasn't called in real time.
Well,
because it cost him 3 on the other end.
He also wanted a flagrant foul there.
Oh, and it cost him 3 on the other end when it was basically 5-on-4 as Rowland slowly came up the other way. How about this? 5.5 minutes to go. Emotions are high in the national semifinals. As IUP commits a foul, it's on Bosch.
IUP's done a much better job overall in the second half of staying out of foul trouble. They have not put the Mavericks in the bonus. That was a huge advantage for Colorado Mesa in that Elite Eight game.
Rowland trying to get physical off the dribble, and she is going to the strike.
And this is where it could get dangerous. So not only is this a shooting foul, but now you're 1 foul away from being in the bonus for Colorado Mesa.
IUP with 4, Mesa only 1 here in the 4th. Is Coach Carey a little calmer now? I don't know that he was feeling particularly calm early in this game when IUP had a couple of calls that maybe were a little soft in his eyes go against them. Rowland takes care of both of them. Colorado Mesa has trailed by 12 on 2 different occasions. They've never been able to get the lead back. They cut it to 1, but IUP has just been too much.
Well, it starts with the defensive communication, especially off the two-man game. You got to watch for that off-ball cutter.
Ellie Wilkerson, what a show. 16 for her. Working slowly, finds an opening, converts.
And that's been a great matchup this entire second half, just posting Wilkerson up inside because of her 5'9" length and size.
Rowland took the shot when it was open, probably feeling a bit like she needed to have it. And that one didn't go, followed by a foul on Olivia Reed-Tyne, her 4th.
Been able to get the stops. IUP shooting 50% in this game. And 58% this half.
Wilkerson. Looking into the high post. Weaver wants to spin around. They're working at Olivia Reed-Tyne, who's got 4 fouls for Mesa. 70-58. The urgency has to be obvious for the Mavericks. Rowland, great defense. Wilkerson all over her. Daring Iyer to shoot, and she won't. And a reach around foul will send the Mavericks to the free throw line for the rest of the way.
Well, you notice on that possession that Colorado Mesa moved Rowland off ball to try and isolate her in space one-on-one. But again, as you said, great defense, just walling her up on the baseline, forcing other Mavericks players to have to beat you.
Reed-Tyne has scored 34. 6 of 7 from the stripe. 14 of 21 from the floor. 14 rebounds.
But the majority of the Mavericks offense in this 4th quarter has come at the free throw line. They have not had a field goal in the last almost 4 minutes.
Frustrating stretch of basketball for them. Not turning it over, just not making buckets. IUP 3.5 minutes away. Wilkerson back up top. Miller, good control. Finds Weaver into a double. And she turns it over, but deflected out of bounds. It stays here.
Great defensive possession, though, for this Colorado Mesa squad.
Championship game is at 3 Eastern on Saturday here at UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. Whether you're flying in or driving in, get here. You won't want to miss it. With the shot clock winding down, they had to throw it up. It's a turnover for IUP.
Best defensive stand of the entire day for Colorado Mesa.
Not sure how many more buckets they can afford to give up if they want to make a comeback.
Especially because IUP just is going to stretch out the clock for as much as they can.
Iyer, gotta have it, missed left. Rowland saves it, and Reed Tyne touched it while she was on the baseline.
And the Mavericks have had a miserable day from 3 shooting the ball. 2 of 18 for 11%.
Miller feeling the heat. 3 minutes to go. Wilkerson fouled. Rowland commits the violation. That's her second. Still got 1 to give here. Ellie Wilkerson. She's been really controlled today. What a 3-headed monster. Weaver with 19, Wilkerson 18, and somehow Maggio scored 17 points. What a weapon. Marin Miller's been facilitating all day, and we get a foul underneath. It's on the Mavericks.
Still 1 away from the bonus.
It's on Rowland, her third. So now they're at the limit. Deficit for the Mavericks is 11. Start counting possessions. They got to make some magic happen. IUP. Protect the ball, milk some clock. Maggio. Can't quite make it hurt. And it's going the other way. As Teresa stares up into the rafters.
If you're Colorado Mesa, you don't need, especially with how you've been shooting the 3 ball, you don't need a lot of 3-point looks here. You just need
game. I imagine Dad's probably more nervous now than he ever was standing on the sideline on his own. Mavericks got to do something special in a hurry. Reed Tyne, Rowland, bottom of the bucket. This kid is automatic.
That's exactly, if you're going to take a 3, that's who you want shooting a 3 if you're Colorado Mesa. Can hit him at a high clip.
Got it to 8. We're down 11 with just over 2 minutes to play. Miller back to Maggio. She wanted to let it fly. Instead, she'll run a little time. Weaver, 5 to shoot. Maggio driving high off the glass. It deflects out of bounds and is going to the Mavericks. No shot clock violation. The ball went out of bounds first.
Still plenty of time left, though, for Colorado Mesa.
Definitely not over. IUP 3 timeouts left. Mesa has 2 in its pocket. Both teams in the bonus now. The freshman Hallie Clark, 0 for 5 shooting it today. Good pass to Olivia, handed to Rowland, goes right at Weaver and is fouled.
Rowland has done such a nice job in the second half of playing under control, but also getting to the free throw line. She has that ability to play through contact and is elite at the charity stripe. So it's basically automatic if she can get there.
Look at that discrepancy. Meanwhile, that's only the 3rd foul of the whole game on Weaver. So after picking up 2 fouls really quick in that first quarter, Nyshay has done an excellent job of preventing herself from being caught in a tough spot.
Well, credit a lot of that to the coaching decision from Coach Carey to move her away from guarding Reed Tyne. That made all the difference. She could help over defensively, but it took her off of being one-on-one with her.
70-64. Colorado Mesa has IUP starting to sweat a little.
Turnover.
What just happened?
Yeah.
And a foul before the inbound comes in.
I mean, this can change in a hurry here. You have to understand time and score late in a game like this. You can't make these mental mistakes when you have a trip to the national championship on the line.
Fouls on Wilkerson. Her second. Rowland misses the first foul shot. How unlike her. Mason's got 26. Now 27, 5-point game.
So you've opened the door now for Colorado Mesa.
7-0 run in 2:32 as IUP's offense has gone a little cold. Trying to force a turnover. Weaver gets wide open and scores. They sold out for the steal. It didn't work. 1 minute to go. Rowland. Clark has to go. Yes! Timeout, Colorado Mesa. And they will review to see whether her foot was on the line. Is it a 2 or is it a 3?
Holly Clark's first.
Collar, tough league in so many different sports. Can they get to a women's basketball national championship game? 40 seconds to go.
Interesting, not going to foul, just going to play this out.
Wilkerson back to Weaver. Colorado Mesa's letting a lot of time come off the clock.
I'm actually shocked they're not fouling.
Finally fouled. Ayers first.
Frankly, I don't understand that. I think you should have gone for the initial steal, fouled pretty quickly. You let 20 seconds go off the shot clock.
Coach Wagner giving some instructions to Holly Clark. Wilkerson can hit them both and make it a 3-possession game.
Well, this is who you want shooting, too, from the charity stripe, 84%.
First one so calm, great rhythm. 6-point lead. Ellie to make it really tough. Oh, yeah. Timeout Mavericks. Ellie Wilkerson. What a performance. 20 points. Conference. They've only lost 3 times all year, and they've been tough as nails in the NCAA tournament. A steal up top. Bosch back to Miller. IUP on the precipice. Sending Miller to the strike.
Al Bosch has really been the unsung hero of this game. Has come up with some massive defensive plays. A lot of them early in the first half, but none bigger defensively than that steal.
34 wins in a row. 37-1, Colorado Mesa. And they are about to fall victim to the Crimson Hawks.
Coach Carey, he was confident coming to this matchup because this IUP squad plays in the PSAC, and they have played against Gannon this year, who plays a similar style to what Colorado Mesa does.
Timeout, Colorado Mesa with 21.7, 567. One of the great scorers in D2 history, Reed Tyne, in her senior year, gives to Rowland. Driving baseline, missed it. Weaver's got it. IUP went soaring to Pittsburgh. And now they're going to go to the national championship game. 7 seconds to go as we get a foul in the corner.
I thought that one might get upgraded for a second.
started the game with a 12-0 lead. Got in foul trouble in a way that you never game plan for, with both of your post players having their backs against the wall, playing against the elite scorer in D2 college basketball. And yet, even though they got off to that fast start and had to withstand a big surge, they never trailed in this game. Rolling up the floor. A three for more is on the way and good, but too little, too late. Indiana of Pennsylvania is headed to the national championship game.